Guys, it's me again. Welcome back to the Horror with your host, as always, Jenna. I am not doing a review today. I'm not doing an unboxing. I'm not doing a haul today. I'm actually gonna be talking about horror movies in general and like society. Now this idea I've been kind of sitting with for a few days now because I actually watched. I'm sure I know quite a few probably have already seen this video by Nightmare Maven. She just posted a video a few days ago titled something like "Is Horror Legit?" or something. And I guess she was prompted to kind of do this topic because she's going to school right now for like film and everything, and she kind of said how, you know, with all these like film classes and all this other stuff that she's doing, no one ever seems to discuss horror movies. None of the teachers seem to bring up any sort of aspect of horror movies, and she was just kind of like, is like horror just not like a legitimate genre of movie that we're not studying it? And I kind of started thinking too back to, you know, like high school and in college and everything. And quite honestly, like I don't even remember any of my teachers really bringing up horror movies as anything to study. Like high school, I can kind of understand, you know, because, you know, most horror movies, not most, but a lot of horror movies are rated R. And plus, too, even some of the like PG-13 ones, like I'm thinking like the first Poltergeist movie and stuff. I could see them kind of having like an issue with showing high school kids horror movies. Like I can kind of get that, but like college specifically, like, you know, there was always like, you know, film classes, film studies, and everything. And none of them, I never remember hearing anyone talking about how they went over horror movies in their classes. And, you know, that's kind of alarming in a way because I do feel like horror movies, not every horror movie, but there are certainly a lot of horror movies or like horror TV shows that definitely touch on some social commentaries in life. I mean, going way, way back, I'm thinking of like the original Twilight Zone with Rod Serling. You know, that aired late 50s to early to mid 60s. I mean, some of the, uh, you know, episodes that were in that show, just some that kind of like came off top of my head are like stuff on like beauty and what's acceptable like beauty wise and everything, and like what's the norm and everything. Like two episodes that really kind of stick out in my mind are number 12, Looks Like You. That's the one where you know, the young girl, she's like turning 16 or 18, I think 18, and, you know, basically is, you know, every young person around that age has to pretty much go in and have plastic surgery because their little plain Janeness or whoever they are, whatever they look like, have to go through like a transformation. And that still so holds true to this day, because how many times do we read another celebrity or even another like Joe Schmo off the street is getting you know, plastic surgery, or, you know, even like with stuff like tattoos or piercings. Like I admit I have piercings, like that's a body modification and everything. But you know, it's like these people who are being forced to uh, change their looks and kind of doing it like almost Stepford wife of like, okay, okay, except for this one girl who obviously is like, I don't really want to change. I don't want to change. That was one of them, and the other one, Beauty's in the Eye of the Beholder, and that's the one where young lady's in the hospital, her head's all bandaged up. We think that she's all like disfigured and everything, and like, oh, she must have been in a bad accident. She just must look horrible. And then, like, when they reveal her face at the end, she's, when they take off the bandages, you hear all these gasps of like, oh, it didn't take, oh, and you think, oh my God, she's still like disfigured, and they pan over to her face, and she's gorgeous. And then you're like, what's wrong with her? And then you kind of pan over to like the nurses and the doctors, and they have those like almost like duck like faces, just look not what we would consider like the norm or beautiful or anything by any means. It's just little things like that, like still to this day, like anyone who looks a little different, like for me personally, like growing up, I was always kind of like an ugly duckling and everything. So I kind of get that, like that kind of touches base with me, and it's like, dude, not everyone needs to look like a freaking supermodel. Just saying, just saying. And even stuff with the Twilight Zone, such as like paranoia. I feel like there's literally it feels like every other day there seems to be some sort of like paranoia in our world. I know some of the episodes that kind of deal with that are the monsters are due on Maple Street. And that's the one where, if memory serves, is the one where like people's houses or like electricity is starting to go off, and like cars just kind of die and then restart by themselves. And over like this course of the day, you see all these people starting to like turn on each other and like getting like almost like hatred and stuff, and just turning on each other. We know, once again, we see that today, like we've been seeing a lot of that today. And like I said, this is done like, what, 50, 60 years ago? Almost 70 years ago? 60 years ago? Like, that's crazy, crazy how much impact that show alone has. And this is just the first little example I have for you. Um, but I mean, the list goes on. Like, I know a lot of people are often like, especially like non-horror fans or just kind of like casual horror fans. It's like, dude, it's just something to watch to get you scared. Like, no, like there are some stuff that like once again has like social commentary, and I feel like John Carpenter is pretty good with that, and like Stephen King is pretty good with that too, of just having like a little bit of like a social commentary, and just really kind of like their thought process and some of their stories and stuff really were way ahead of their time. Like John Carpenter, movie that just is so obvious for me that I think of is They Live, with the late great Roddy Piper. I mean, look at that movie where it's like, all the, like billboards that are like subliminal messages and stuff like, oh, spend money, do this, do that, with us not even realizing it, and like certain people who are controlling this, and people that like you think are just everyday Joes, and they're behind this and just brainwashing us, or like with the media just telling us the truth, when in reality it's just fake news stories, or it's lies and total BS. I mean, that's another one that came out, what, 30 years ago, roughly 30 years ago, give or take a year or two. Like, that's, once again, that's kind of nuts how relevant that movie, that little horror movie with some wrestler, is still very prevalent to this day. Like, just, yeah, think about it. If you've not seen that movie, or if it's been a while since you've watched that movie, watch that movie right now, and you'll start thinking a little bit. And like even with Stephen King. Hello, I just forgot who else I mentioned. Even some of like his stuff, like the movie Maximum Overdrive. I know that's a kooky little movie, but when you think about it, when you have like all these um like cars and vehicles and machinery, like just starting to like almost have a mind of their own and just started doing whatever and working by themselves and attacking the humans. Like, hello, we have like smart everything, smart TVs, smart cars, smart telephones and stuff. We have cars that like will brake for us if we're about to hit something. Like, hello, if that is not maximum overdrive right there, that's, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm freaking crazy, but whatevs. But you know, little things like that, or even something like Christine a little bit with this demonic car that literally can start by itself, drive itself, repair itself, and everything. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years we start getting cars that like repair themselves after an accident. I really wouldn't. Um, just saying, just saying. And once again, those movies are what, like 30 years old at least? Like crazy, right? Crazy, pretty relevant stuff. Um, Speaking of stuff, though, there's another movie about more about like consumerism and everything, almost to how They Live is, and also from the 80s. 80s was a very popular time for some like social commentary in horror movies. But and I know this movie that I'm about to mention is like so kind of goofy and everything. It's like not really as scary, but the movie's called The Stuff. But you know, for anyone who doesn't know what that movie's about, it's about this like stuff, this like fluff type consistency type of stuff that is found, and you know, they start marketing it because they realize, oh, it's delicious, you know, so they don't really test it or anything. They just start, you know, advertising it the way that they advertise it and everything. And then people start consuming it. I mean, talk about, you know, just a society who just consumes addictive products and everything, and, you know, putting stuff in our mouth and we don't even know what's in, you know, the food that we're ingesting. Like, I mean, how, you know, I feel like every other day we're coming across something or a news story of like, oh, such and such product is found to have like rat poisoning, and it's like cheese or something. It's like, you know, like we know obvious stuff like cigarettes or drugs are very harmful for us, but it's like other stuff that we're supposed to be like consuming from day to day, or even like just like the pesticides on our produce and stuff. It's like we're consuming that and we're not really giving it a second thought. I mean, who knows? With all this stuff that's being put on like food and stuff or putting in food, we're probably all gonna like get like popcorn tumors or something. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that started happening. I hope it doesn't, but you know, just that sort of like, you know, consumerism and everything, and the way things are advertised, and like I said, addictive products. I mean, how often do we see studies on like McDonald's and stuff, and showing like how addictive that food is from like, you know, because of like just simply the salt and like the fat and the cheese and just like addictive stuff. It's like genetically engineered to be addictive, so we keep consuming it and keep, you know, dishing out the money for it. It's crazy. You know, and that also kind of reminds me too of Tales from the Crypt is another show that you guys know I love. You know, and there is an episode that I think it's the fifth season, halfway horrible, where the guy, you know, he's testing out like a new product to like, his intentions are good, but it's like it, you know, this stuff that he has found like deep in like the African jungle or something, or Brazilian jungle or something, from like some voodoo doctor, like preserves food for like 100 years, and it's like, oh my god, we could like, you know, eliminate like world hunger and stuff. And like I said, like, guy's intentions are kind of good, even though he kind of wants to line his pockets with the money. But it's like he didn't do any sort of testing on it, and come to find out, it literally like rots you, or like it kills you, and then it like preserves your body, and you look all like mummified and everything. It's crazy. Um, but you know, just things like that. That it's like, you know, like I said, she, you know, Nightmare Maven brought this up in her videos and everything. She's like, is it really legit? Maybe it's just, you know, me or whatever. But I do feel like horror movies are more than just, entertainment. They're more than just scares. Obviously, like any genre, like, you do have those movies that are, you do just kind of pop in just to have a good time, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Like that one, like when I pop that in, I am not looking to find any sort of meaning in it or anything or it be deeply moved. I just watch it simply to just have a good time and just, de-stress or whatever. But like I said, you get that with any sort of movie genre. Not every movie is gonna be some sort of like social commentary on life. But yeah, like I just that is just a small portion of things that my brain started to like think about of like no dude, like you're right, like horror movies, there is a legitimacy to horror movies and to horror related content. And unfortunately, as we all know, horror movies are pretty much the bastard children of the film industry. No one ever wants to give them credit for, maybe getting something right on the head or having some sort of social relevance. Um, but you know what? I kind of challenge you guys too, because I think she may have kind of um done this too, where it's like, hey, give your thoughts. I challenge you guys to, in support of her for her schooling, to make sure that her teachers going forward give horror a chance. Definitely, leave a comment, obviously, for me. Let me know what you guys think. But start doing some of your own videos, because I would love to know what you guys think. Or even if you're talking about a specific movie and are dissecting it, like, that would be awesome. Um, but, maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll do this more regularly where I will kind of pick little things, whether it's like Twilight Zone or actual movies, and kind of dissect them a little bit more and talk about the social relevance to them. Who knows though? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys think. Definitely check her video out if you guys have not checked it out yet. Like I said, Nightmare Maven. I know quite a few of you who watch me watch her as well. So let's spread the word, all right? Let's get her some horror education at her school. If she's paying all that money for horror movies, for schooling, she should be able to talk about what she loves. So, just saying. But once again, thank you guys for letting me speak my mind. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, right as Yuchi on this side, like if you'd like, and as always, let me know what you guys think. Till next time, you guys, stay creepy and classy, and as always, a little bit sassy.